I feel like if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've seen me unbox and test and kind of critique a lot of these all-in-one built-in battery systems. You know, the little boxes, 1,000 watts, 800 watts, 500 watts. I feel like this is the natural, expected evolution of that battery addiction. I've said it once, said it before, I'll say it again and again. I have an addiction to backup battery. I don't know why. I can't tell you, can't explain it, but I do. Now, I'm not gonna run out and buy a Tesla Powerwall, even though I would love to, just not in the cards right now. However, when a company like SunGoldPower reaches out to me and says, hey, we have a 6,000 watt, 24 volt inverter / battery charger that we would like to send to you for review. It's hard to turn that down. Now, this thing by itself costs about $1,300 or $1,400. So it's not the most expensive part of the whole project, but it's that kick in the butt. Like, hey, you're doing this. Right meow. And if you're looking behind me, you also see some solar panels. Well, you see two solar panels. Uno, dos. These solar panels, coincidentally enough, after I got the request for this that I accepted and took delivery of, I got a request from them. Boogie RV, I think, they said, hey, let us send you a couple solar panels we'd like for you to review. Those are real solar panels, not the foldable, carryable, mobile solar panels that you would plug in to a little box. No, those are the ones that you staple to your roof. And I know you don't staple them, but you know what I mean. They're real solar panels. 180 watts per panel. I got 2 of them. That is like a very small start. Not even enough to keep my server rack running, but it's a start. Eventually, once I get in a more comfortable financial situation, I will be obviously expanding my solar panels because 180 watts times 2 minus, efficiency and how much you'll actually get out of the panels. I mean, geez, I'd be lucky to get 300 watts out of the thing. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, and I'm going to use this again, coincidentally, I don't know why, this all happened all at once. I've never had, request for these types of reviews before, like an actual inverter, a full-size battery, or actual real solar panel. I also got an offer for sponsorship for batteries. Unfortunately, the batteries that was offered to me were only 12 volt and they specified they could not be ran in series. So since this is a 24 volt system, and if I can't combine 2 of these batteries to make a 24 volt compatible part for this system, those weren't worth anything to me. Although they're about the same price as these, I got these off of Amazon with my own money, right around $400 below, right around $400 or below, and I will link to those in the description down below as well. So I got 2 of these, which is, again, not really what I want to end up with. I imagine I'm going to have a lot more of these, but when you drop $800 on batteries, you're like, oh God, that hurts. So in today's video, this is kind of an unboxing. This is kind of a predecessor to what I'm going to be doing, like explaining what I plan to do with this system, being that it's kind of like a starter kit for me, and also touching base on some things that I've been learning about my own power consumption, the tools I've been using to do so, and that's also going to be another video. I'm just gathering data at this point, and really kind of asking for advice. I've been on YouTube for so long, like just watching so many different people on YouTube, like reviewing different things, different solar panels, different setups, different things like that, but obviously every solar system, especially pieced together by yourself, is going to be completely different. So, and if any of you guys out there have any experience and you have anything that directly relates to this, instead of, hey, go watch this guy on YouTube, because I guarantee you I've probably already seen this dude on YouTube, feel free to drop any comments in the section down below. So without further ado, let's do a quick unboxing. This is obviously an angle that you're really not used to seeing, but I feel like a bird's eye view of what I'm about to unbox is going to be a lot more useful. So it's going to have to do. The batteries I've already unboxed. I've already checked them out. I was honestly just super curious about them. I haven't done anything with them, but I'm gonna go ahead and put those on the floor for right now because, you know, unboxed. I got a lot of stuff. I think at the end of this video, I'm gonna lay out all this just to kind of show what all I've got. But for now, I did just go on Amazon and just blanket order just a bunch of stuff. I was like, you know, I'm gonna need wire, connectors, crimpers, you know, whatever. Just everything that I think I need to get the basics going. But the one thing I've definitely been excited about getting open, and I've just been like staring at it like, oh, it's almost time. It's almost time. I want to get this open. I want to get this open. SunGoldPower, pure sine wave, combined inverter and charger. Look at this. This thing comes in at a hefty 88 pounds. 88 pounds. I have to be completely honest here. I did not know how big it was until the guy delivered it. And he was like, this is heavy. It's like 90 pounds. I'm like, what? I, in my head, for some reason, was thinking it was like this big, like this long, you know, this tall. I don't know why. You know, they should add like a banana for scale in some of those photos. But that was complete ignorance. That was the first learning experience. Like, hey, these things are not small. But there's two reasons why I like the idea of this. Number one, it's got a battery charger built into it, and it is a 6,000 watt inverter, which based off some of the information I've been collecting about my house is really not enough like for everything, especially when you kick 240 stuff in. Also, by the way, this can technically do 240 stuff, but it's a pretty dang good start. Realistically, aside from like the electric range, like my stove and probably my dryer, I could run like my AC unit, which is 240, with this and some bare minimums in my house. The stove, that's not gonna happen. That's all electric. You turn on all the knobs, like it's, yeah, there's just certain limitations, you know what I mean? There's a third reason why I like this though, and that's because they offered to send it to me for free. However, even though it was free, I will do my best to try to point out anything that I don't like about this and be as truthful and honest about what I find as possible. So this is the moment, this is the truth, this is the excitement and the first cut. Yeah. Oh. I'm really excited about this. Wow. Oh, I thought it was like shipped with a big piece of wood, but it's a really thin piece of wood. Wood nonetheless. Woodish. It's got wood-like qualities. We have the user manual with some screws in there. All right, I'm gonna set that right there. The thing I like the best about this is that they do put wood all around it. I mean, this just helps it from getting jarred around during shipping and something sharp hitting it. You know, just giving that structural integrity just a little bit more of a oomph to it. Okay, so this is basically a remote control of sorts that allows you to switch between a few different things. So, yeah, I'm sure that's going to be useful. And then we have, I am going to imagine, let's see. I'm going to imagine that as a temperature sensor because this is a battery charger as well. This does have some built-in protections of its own. So with this, it'll allow you to attach it to one of your batteries, monitor the temperature, things get out of control. The battery charger itself would accommodate that. Yeah, all right. Now, there's so much going on with this that before I do anything, I am actually going to go through and I'm going to read this manual. Most of it. I'm going to skim, I'm going to Cliff Note skim this manual for the key parts and try to at least make sure I don't blow myself up, start a fire, or anything like that while I try to figure all this out. Because I had this impulse to just series these two batteries together, hook it up to the positive and negative, and get this thing to power up, and then just see what happens. You know what I mean? Obviously, you can't do that. There's way more to that than, you know, just plugging a battery in. I don't even know if that's the battery input for that matter. Yeah, that is the battery. Okay. So obviously, there's more to this than just start plugging things in. But let me show you some of that stuff that I'm talking about. Starting on the left side, okay, this is where all the interesting stuff is. So starting on the left side, one of the key features that I like about this, even though I do not have an electric start generator yet, is that you do have a remote control to automatically start a generator. So if you want to get that plugged in and you want to get this set up, you can have a generator automatically go turn on to start charging your batteries in the event of a power outage. So that's really nice. I don't know if there's a delay or if you configure that. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that you could do, but that auto generator start is a big feature. And just like I said before, I thought this was a sensor. So this is definitely a sensor that gets plugged in right there, just like that. And this is going to be the battery sensor to make sure that your batteries are discharging and charging properly without being at any major risk of fire, hopefully. So it only has one sensor, so I don't know if you just, I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm honestly, that is what it is. Over here, we have a bunch of different switches. Look at this. You do have like a function setting that kind of explains a little bit what each one does, but I am definitely going to do more research on this to make sure that before I decide on whatever these switches are going to be, that I know exactly what they do and how to use them. Then up here we have the remote port, which is what this is. So this is the remote port. This allows you to, let's say it says unit off, power saver off, and power saver auto. So that gives you some battery control on a remote level, you know, just in case you're going to tuck this away somewhere outside, whatever you're going to do, you're going to have that option to control that, you know, outside of where the unit actually is. Now, SunGoldPower does offer multiple options. They asked me what options I wanted. I didn't want 12 volt, and I definitely didn't want 48 volt just because I know how expensive the batteries are. Instead, I went right in the middle. So 24 volt DC. That allows me to only have to series two batteries connected at the same time, two 12 volt batteries. And like, for example, I have these two batteries that are 1280 watt hours, 100 amp hours. So when I series these together in order to make the 24 volts that I need, I'm still going to have that same 100 amp hours, but I'll have 24 volts of it. So I went with that one, but they do have other options. As stated before, these are just the standard battery connectors, plus and minus. These are what connects to your batteries for charging and discharging of the batteries. And you have a ground hookup. So whenever you get this set up, you definitely want to tap into the ground. So for me, for example, this is probably going to be set up in my basement, which is, you know, going to be the easiest thing for me, which means I'll have to just run a ground wire over to the room of which that has the ground going through my basement floor and into the ground, probably however, 12 feet or whatever it says. So that will be directly connected to that grounding. On the top here, we have that same remote control as far as being able to control the battery, unit off, power saver, etc. This is on here. This is like, I mean, it's literally, let's look. Yeah, it's literally the same thing, just one's remote, one's not. So I don't know which one's going to take priority. I would imagine the remote would probably take priority. You know, if you have this set off, I got to read the manual, so don't know. Bunch of different lights here, status symbols. You kind of have a key to show you, and I have to read up on this. So battery type selector is going to be the most important thing. I personally got lithium iron phosphate batteries, so I have to make sure that I set this correctly. If you set this incorrectly, you can overcharge a battery or charge it incorrectly in general, and you can die. So I don't want to die or catch on fire or whatever. The charge current control, so you can adjust, it looks like, how what voltage you're going to be charging your batteries at. Again, it's just going to depend on what batteries you have. And then a bunch of other stuff. So power save, overload, over temperature, charger on float mode, charger fast charge mode, inverter power online, battery charger off, shore power online, battery charger active. So you have a bunch of different status things here. And once you kind of understand it all, I'm sure it'll be easy to just at a glance take a look at it and say, oh, that's what's going on with my system. Now this is where the interesting stuff happens right here. So this is all your AC stuff. As you can see here, you have an input, AC input. You have hot 1 and hot 2. And then you have your ground there. Your AC output, you have hot 1, hot 2, and neutral. Remember, this can be a 240 system. You can technically run 240 off of this because it has 2 phases. So you can run it, assuming you have enough power to run it. And based off the data collection I've been doing, I can run my air conditioning unit off of this. Does that mean this needs a 240 wire in? Right? Hot 1 and hot 2. And then a ground. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. When it comes to 240 stuff, that's kind of a... I have some experience in it and I understand the basics of it, but really I'm not as comfortable with, 240 two-phase stuff than I am than just regular 110 volts. I have actually had this hooked up. This is a energy monitoring device. I've had it hooked up for a couple weeks now. I'm running some tests. I'm gathering information. I haven't finished installing it yet, but whatever. And this has given me a much better idea of what the capabilities of this inverter is going to be able to give me, as far as like what I need, what I use, and what that inverter could handle, which is it's been very insightful. Ultimately though, what I have here is going to allow me to get started. Now this does charge a battery, so this will charge my battery array. But when it comes to solar, usually with solar, there's like a DC to AC converter process where you have to convert it to AC for the input. This does not have a DC input anywhere. So I mean, I just can't plug a freaking 12 volt or whatever, however many volts this thing is going to put out and just plug it into this and call it a day. I still have more stuff I got to buy. An MPPT, I believe. When I was researching people who do like massive arrays on the roof, when it comes to solar panels, so let's say if you run a couple solar panels in series and then you run a couple groups or pairs of solar panels in parallel, each thing, like depending on the cloud or, if it's not producing as much, it's going to hinder the rest of the array. And then you might just, ultimately lose a lot of power that you could have had if you would have done it differently. So I believe those are called microinverters. So if you hook up a microinverter to each set, and then that converts everything over, and that allows you to have a little bit of shade here and there and not, basically cripple your entire solar array. So I have to look at that and figure out how I'm going to tie this into my system, figure out if I need an MPPT, if I need some microinverters, a major inverter. If you guys haven't guessed this is a little out of my normal wheelhouse. I want to say it's out of my league. It probably is, but that's the most exciting part to me, is that I get to tackle something that I have a basic generic understanding of, but I really don't have a full plan on how I'm going to tackle the entire situation. Let's just hope I don't set myself on fire while I'm learning about all of this. As promised though, I do want to go through some of the stuff that I've purchased after I've watched just playlist after playlist of different, solar setups and different people who are heavily into the whole solar thing. And I've been trying to pick and choose like certain things that I just don't understand that much about, and then, watch a video specifically on that, see what kind of tools, what kind of things they're using to connect. So I've been out just kind of purchasing a generic range of things. So this one in specific, it's just multiple different, sizes of these heavy duty connectors that handle all different, sizes of cables. I just had kind of a multi-pack, and that was after I purchased this, which I purchased this, and I'm like, that's not going to do me any good. I wanted more of like, I want to make sure I have the right size. So these are all heavy duty connectors. Then, because I'm going to be hooking things up to my solar panels, these are just standard solar panel connectors. Now I only have, let's see, 5 of them, but this is going to allow me to custom wire each one. That way I can plug it in, and if I need to run whatever I need to run, I can be able to create my own connection and just kind of get that going as I see fit. So that is a standard solar connector. I could not tell you what it's called. Let me look. JYFT solar connector solar system accessory. And this is for crimping, because tools. Man needs tools, man needs crimp. This is primarily going to be for these connectors right here. So whenever you stick the wire in there, you, I guess, use this and you crimp it down. This is for cutting. I have plenty of things in my house that will be able to cut wire effortlessly, but it was part of the pack that came with the crimper, and I was like, you know what? You never know. Maybe one of these days I'll just want to be able to like take someone's finger off, you know, with it kind of cups in there a little bit, so it'd be harder for them to escape. You never know when you're going to need something like this. So I figured, why not? I also bought some fuse boxes. I know you need fuses. I know this. You want to be able to protect yourself. This one has a fuse in it. This one has a fuse in it. So all of these have a fuse. I don't even know what amperage they are, but I bought fuse boxes. So once I get a better understanding of what I need to protect myself. So these are 30 amps, it looks like. Yeah, these are 30 amps. So once I get a better understanding of what I need, I can change those around. Obviously, I don't want to overdo it or underdo it, but here's another package of connectors that really came down to another fuse box. Basically, I just went on, I bought 8, I bought 10, and I bought 6 gauge wire. I don't think I have it all here. I think I have some more in my studio or my computer room over there. So I bought just different packs of wire at different gauges. What is this? 8 gauge wire. I have 6 somewhere, I'm pretty sure. I wanted enough wire to make sure whatever I was doing, I could kind of get up and running, because I have a video that I'm gonna do on this that's gonna basically show start to finish setting up my first, you know, custom built. It's not custom, and obviously I didn't build that, but you know, my first custom assembled actual legit battery backup inverter, you know, system. And I just wanted to make sure I had a plethora of different options when it comes to wires, and plethora of different options when it comes to connectors, even though I have another package of connectors. Pretty much I have enough connectors to connect the world. My first step that I want to do, the first thing that I want to do is charge the batteries. Or at least get everything set up to a point where it is charging off the grid or off of, you know, the house power. I'm not even going to worry about the solar just yet. By the way, that's a whole nother realm of complexity. We're talking permits, HOA permission. Do I want to buy 20 more solar panels, etc.? So that is a whole different thing. But initially, I can connect this to the grid at my powerhouse, or the power in my house, and charge the batteries and then use that for backup power for probably my server room. And to make it even better than that, I will be probably running a dedicated circuit to my server room that's going to be running my server rack, which I've been wanting to do for a while, like a 30 amp circuit just to that, maybe even higher, maybe a 50 amp to the server room with its own little sub panel and everything that would tie into this. Something, I don't know. Again, that's one of those half-cocked plans that I haven't really planned out like seriously, because it's just been on the back burner, something I'm going to do in the future. I know it's in the wheelhouse and in the plan, but I just haven't done it yet, so I haven't actually sat down to plan that system out. But there you have it. SunGoldPower, 6,000 watt. The rabbit hole, oh man, this is heavy. The rabbit hole begins, okay? Thank you, SunGoldPower, for sending this over. No, this is not your primary video. This is literally just an unboxing. This is me asking the community for guidance. This is me showing what I'm gonna do. This is me trying to give an idea of the plans that I have for this, even though 6,000 watts minus the 240 running in my house can run my entire house, which is kind of impressive. We're talking about computers, servers, mining rig, etc. if the power went out and I really needed to cut down on power, this thing could easily power my house for probably a pretty decent amount of time, even with the only 2 batteries that I have now. So, and that's like turning off computers, turning off servers, and literally just wanting to have, the garage door opener, the lights on, very basic stuff. Maybe a laptop. You know what I mean? But huge shout out to SunGoldPower for sending this over to me. I hope this is everything that I am as excited for it is to be. Let me try that one over. I hope this is everything that it could be as that I am excited for it to be or not to be. Coming from somebody who has only played with the little consumer boxes, the plug and play, you plug it into your wall, you plug in. I mean, I have really been on the infancy level of battery backup. I created the, double-edged sword cable. I don't want to say the word, but y'all know what it is, where you have 2, male prongs to power my household on a small level with the Home Power 2 system, which was quite impressive, but it just doesn't have that much battery in it in order to run your house for very long, especially with any kind of computers on. So this is going to be a whole new level because I can expand. As I can afford it, I can buy new batteries. I have a feeling batteries are going to be like hard drives for me now. I'm just going to be buying new batteries as I can afford them, adding them to my power thing, and then just building the addiction. This is going to be crazy. This is a whole new rabbit hole that I seriously am just very excited for. So once again, thank you. SunGoldPower, 6,000 watts, 24 volt. Links in the description down below if you want to check it out. Read more up on it if you want to make any suggestions or anything based off of what you've seen today. I will link to the SunGoldPower inverter / charger. I will link to the batteries that I purchased, and I will link to the solar panels that were given to me as well. If you guys have anything you want to tell me, anything you want to recommend, please do not hesitate. Don't tell me to watch some video about a YouTuber unless it's very specific to what I'm doing, because I have been watching video after video, YouTuber after YouTube, and I've been going through it and I've been trying to take all the notes. But I am eager to find out how much of my community is into this kind of stuff and what they can bring to the table and say, hey, you know what? I did this, this is what I ran into, this is what you want to focus on, this is what you have to watch 3 hours worth of YouTube videos in order to understand or comprehend. Like, if you want to cliff note something for me, I will love you for it. So please leave those in the comments section down below. But until then, guys, this is my next exciting adventure, and like and subscribe below, and have yourself a great day. I'm so excited.